Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And before we get into today's video, I have a very exciting announcement. I've been asked to participate in this year's Carrier Con at the USS Hornet over in the Bay Area. The Hornet is an Essex-class aircraft carrier. She served during World War II, Korea, and thereafter. She's also the ship that was used to recover the Apollo 11 and 12 astronauts, which is incredibly cool. They asked me to come out and join a panel for this year's Carrier Con, their pop culture convention they put on every year. It will be happening on the weekend of Saturday, March 18th. It will be running for 2 days. On the first days, I believe, mostly the Carrier Convention, and then the second day, I believe Wargaming is putting on an event there as well. I'll be around for both days, so come out and check out Carrier Con. It's been a very humbling time having them ask me to go out there. I never thought that I would be asked to do anything like this when I started doing this 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now at this point. I can tell you from discussing this with them, they're putting a lot of work and effort into this convention. It sounds like it's going to be an excellent event. So make sure you guys, if you can and you're around the Bay Area, come out to CarrierCon. Again, I'll be there both days. You'll have a chance to see me somewhere around on the Hornet, as I'm wondering about for both of the days. So again, thank you guys at the Hornet for asking me to come out for this. It's been an absolutely awesome experience, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. I'll put a link to their website down below so you can follow them there and see what's going on with that jazz. And on to today's video. So the title of this video is a sentiment that I'm finding more and more common about certain ships. Not even certain ships, but quite a few ships nowadays. That, oh, this ship's garbage, it's trash, it's been power crept to death, it's not worth playing anymore, and I would never play this in this mode. And if you play this ship in this mode, you're just asking for your team to lose. Or if you play this ship at all, you're just a hindrance to your team, yada yada, so forth and so on. That's a sentiment that I would like to address today, or discuss today, if you will. So, what ships normally get this sentiment or stigma or stereotype applied to them? Normally older ships in the game that aren't in meta. A more mild example of this would be the ship that I chose for today's background footage, which would be the Henri IV. And truth be told, I mean, think about it, how many times do you actually see an Henri IV running around anymore at higher tier? At least on the North American server, I don't really run into them too much at all, and I, of course, play this game quite a bit. And there are some, pretty good reasons for that, because, truth be told, what the Henri IV does has been, well, retreaded and kind of done better in many cases with a lot of these newer ships that keep added into the game. Long-range, maneuverable, HE spammer, and also has really darn good AP for when someone slips up and shows you broadside. There's, again, several large cruisers in the game that can do this better than the Henri IV. And when the Henri IV came out, she was quite the force to be reckoned with. She had the largest guns on any cruiser, she was very quick with the engine boost, and very slippery. If you are from back in the day, you would remember the times of, well, the Henri's literally just sailing in circles around your shells. And now, the devs did bonk her on the head a little bit with the Nerf bat, and they decreased her acceleration time. They realized their mistake, and they kind of buffed it back up, I believe, by 50% to where it's a little bit more comfortable now. And she does have that stigma attached to her, in some cases at least. Definitely not a lot of players play her anymore. Again, I don't really run into too many of these ships at higher tier, but she still does her job. And the background match right now, I think I finished with like 130, 140,000 damage. And this was in a fairly one-sided match, a match that didn't really go for too long. That didn't really have too many opportunities to sit and farm down a battleship or anything like that for, half of the match. So I would call that pretty darn respectable by tier 10 standards today. It's not, again, not some crazy 280,000 6-kill game or anything like that, but she still gets it done. And a lot of times when these comments are brought to my attention by viewers asking questions, it's usually in regard to, hey, I'm trying to get a ship for this. Either this season of ranks coming up, or for random battles, I want this and that. And the truth of the matter is, I can't really say, take this ship, go into battle, you're going to do amazing with it. Doesn't matter whatever ship you take into battle if you don't know anything about it. And sure, there are absolutely ships in this game that are better than others right now. Of course, more in-meta ships at higher tier, ships that are better at longer ranges that can get in their damage fairly quick, are better than more medium to close range ships at higher tier at this moment. However, it doesn't help you to say, oh, this is the most in-meta thing right now, let me abandon this and go to that without, of course, having any experience in whatever it is that you are shifting to. And of course, when rank gets brought up, ranked is all about what you are comfortable in. It doesn't matter that, hey, this is the most in-meta thing. Let me go buy this premium ship or free XP through this line and get to this ship as fast as possible without getting any experience in it before taking it into ranked. And you'll be surprised at how game modes like ranked kind of turn everything up on their head. Tier 7 ranked. One of the best ships for Tier 7 ranked was, and I kid you not, the Yukon. That ship that was released, that imploded the CC program, that was panned by reviewers everywhere, myself included, turns out, yeah, the thing's pretty darn good at ranked. And going back and looking on it, it's like, oh yeah, it kind of does make sense that it would be, because it's got 9 15-inch guns at Tier 7, where most Tier 7 battleships have around 26 millimeters of bow and stern armor. Of course, some have, the wonky armor schemes and stuff like that, where they have the additional platings, but most of them are 26 millimeters of bow and stern armor. You know what smokes right through 26 millimeters of armor? 15-inch guns. Oh, and on top of that, too, the ship's actually pretty darn stealthy. And then it's got the zombie hill on top of that. I think they were trying to make it like Nelson 2 with the Yukon, but they didn't really handle it right for random battles. It's like, huh, we should have seen that coming. And, yeah, a good Yukon player would have been better than seeking that good Yukon player, or not even a good Yukon player, someone that was comfortable in Yukon, and them saying, oh, well, this ship's terrible, I shouldn't really take it into rank. Let me go research or buy a more acceptable Tier 7 battleship, maybe something like Scharnhorst, wherever the most in-meta mid-tier battleship was at that time. It turns out Yukon would have been a pretty solid choice. Now, of course, that's just one ship in one situation. But again, when it comes to ranked, it should be a choice of what are you comfortable in? What do you have experience in? That's really the first thing when it comes to competitive, and which is why a lot of clans, in between seasons, they'll say, okay, these ships are popular this season, and like with next season. Next season is literally the same season as the previous season, so they're probably having players play ships that were popular in the previous season to get them comfortable in those ships for the upcoming season. You can't really buy your way into doing decent in the game. I know a lot of players say that this game's pay to win, and sure, a more experienced player, they do sell ships that are more powerful and more in meta and do overall perform better at certain situations than others. But you take someone that has no idea what they're doing in this ship, buy a Tirpitz for them, as I always use the Tirpitz for this example because it has its reputation for this. They're not going to know what's going on at Tier 8 if they've never been there beforehand, or if they haven't played a German battleship. They're not going to do that well. It's not how the game works. And a lot of players get disheartened by hearing that, oh, the ship that I'm actually having a decent time in, or that I'm playing through, is, a terrible ship. Not necessarily, in my opinion. It's all about what are you comfortable in. If you play that ship and you play it well and you're comfortable in the ship, you can and generally will do well with that ship. Kind of like Khabarovsk. Khabarovsk had the reputation for being absolutely nerfed into the dirt and being, of course, eclipsed by many a gunboat in the game. And I will say, yes, absolutely. Kleber absolutely does everything that Khabarovsk does, but better. But God help you if you run into somebody that actually, stuck with their ship and got good in it. You either ran into the Khabarovsk player that he would murder you. There was nothing you could do about it. You couldn't hit the guy. He knew the jukes. He knows his ship. He knows acceleration, deceleration. He's got it all down. And then you run to the guy that just got it and dies in 2 seconds. That's kind of how Khabarovsk was for a very long time, and still is today. Generally today, if you see a Khabarovsk player, it's someone that really likes the ship, and you better just run. So in conclusion, because I know I like to ramble on for a little bit too long at times, it's a video game, guys. random battles, it's random battles. You know, it's about having fun, having an enjoyable time, as, you know, unenjoyable as the current meta might be for us. So if you're playing a ship and you're having fun with it and you're doing well, you know, by all means, keep on with it. When it comes to ranked and more competitive side of things, play the ships that you're comfortable in, that you know. Don't worry about chasing the most in-meta thing for those modes. If you know your ship and you're comfortable enough in it, and you know the armor scheme, you know the turret angles, you know how the dispersion behaves, that's a ship you need to be worried about taking into ranked. Don't worry about going by the latest premium or the most in-meta ships and rushing through the line to try to get it as soon as possible, because, again, you're not really doing yourself any favors there by rushing to get those things. You know, take the time, learn the ship, get comfortable with it, then go ahead and take it into rank. Now, of course, clan battles and things like that, that's a completely different animal. You know, that's another video for another time. But guys, it's a game. Have fun. Play what you like. Play the ships that you enjoy. And that's my 2 cents on that subject. Just a common question I get asked a lot on stream, and wanted to kind of flesh out my response to it more so here in person. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Again, make sure to check out CarrierCon. Link to the Hornets website is down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.